Good afternoon. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I'm doing my first real Patreon video. I'm going to keep this pretty short and sweet, just to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what I will start doing as things progress. Hopefully, as we go along and I do more and more videos, they'll get better. We'll kind of grow in this thing together, but I kind of wanted to just touch base on kind of what the weather is doing right now, kind of what to look forward to, and then also, what's going on here with the Patreon page. So here's kind of a little slide I put together. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you who already do donate to this page, who've kept it going even this long, because I was going to shut it down 2 years ago. So I'm up to, I think last count I need to go through again, but maybe up to 42 people who either do monthly subscriptions or who are repeat donors and help keep this page going. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to our sponsors, Community Hospital Anderson, Madison County Federal Credit Union. Those two have been on board pretty much since the beginning, as has Joy Mitchell, since the end consultant. If you need anything on your smell goods, definitely get a hold of her on Joy and Scents, just hashtag Joy and Scents, and you can track her down and get some nice scentsy stuff, whether your waxes, sprays, body washes, what have you. They've got everything. At any rate, those three have been with us from the beginning almost as sponsors. Thank you to the Wakeman Realty Group. Definitely let Jeff help take care of any of your needs with your real estate. Care Plus Home Health Care also has been with us for a few months as a sponsor. Thank you very much to them. And the term kind of ended at the end of July, but we also had Burger House Productions, Fireworks and all. They were with us for a few months too, and I thank them. Again, thank you all who have been able to help support this page to this point. That said, it hasn't gotten where I thought it would be when I was going to shut it down a couple of years ago, and people kind of came out and said, no, we'll support the page, just keep it going. So I kept it going, and I would have thought after a couple of years we would be farther along, but with the number of subscribers and repeat donors. But that said, it just tells me I need to step my game up and do something that rewards people for being financially involved with this page as well. So this Patreon page is an attempt to give the financial supporters of the page something extra for their support, to help for helping to keep this page alive, and hopefully help keep us improving. There right now on the Patreon page there are 3 subscription tiers, and I'll show you the Patreon page when I go to it. I have 3 subscription tiers. I may add a 4th one. I'm not sure. The Patreon, I had a little option to give a little bit of merchandise to people when they sign up for as subscribers on Patreon. I think I'd have to look at it again, but I think once you've donated for 3 consecutive months, then you get some little piece of swag that you kind of pick out when you sign up. So just a nice little thing there. I will say that I've had a good conversation with Aaron Higgins at Graphics Now here in Anderson. I was at his office for a couple or 3 hours on over the weekend, and he's got my page pretty much set up. He's kind of doing some mock-ups of the merchandise, and then there will be some exciting things coming that you can just support the page by buying some merchandise as well, where you're getting some T-shirts or hoodies or whatever, hats, whatever, for your money. That'll be another way to help support this page. So as I get this thing going, this first video really is just to make sure everything loads up right, and I can share the link and to make sure everything goes right. And so once we're going, the posts the first 7 days are going to be open to the public. That way everybody can kind of see what I'm going to be doing, and again, hopefully it'll get better as I go along. And then once I get past 7 days, then it's just going to be open to patrons only. The goal of this Patreon is going to be first and foremost, save this page, save Madison County weather updates. By making enough money beyond what I make, I'm not losing money now. I make a little bit, but not enough for the amount of hours that I put in, not only researching things, but answering direct messages and things like that, which I don't mind doing. But I do it, and it takes a lot of time. So to make enough money beyond the costs of running the page, in order to make it worth the time that I'm putting into it. Secondly, I want to improve the equipment and the data access so that I can give you better quality. The laptop I'm doing this on right now is 8 years old, and I was really going to do this video a few hours ago, and it took this long to get everything cleaned out where it would function right. So it definitely needs new equipment to help make this possible as well. I also want to make enough money to start doing some giveaways. I mentioned the merchandise, like from graphics. Now it'd be nice to be able to do some things, kind of like what my friends at BAM do, where they have a little digital wheel on there and people enter and you spin the wheel and somebody can win something. Do little fun little things like that where there's a little random chance to win some merchandise or something every now and then, and make the page fun for everybody. Fourth would be to be able to bring on enough, bring on at least like Kristen is my co-admin, but I need to be able to make enough money to. She's a single mom. She's doing her thing, and to be able to not only help compensate me, but bring her on, make it get her a little something for being participating in this page, and hopefully eventually get to the point where we can have, my ultimate goal is get to where there are 3 of us, where we can cover 8-hour shifts. 1 or 2 people aren't having to do it all the time, all day, every day. So that's my goal on that as well. I also want to be able to make enough money to help, going back to the giveaways thing, one of the things besides just doing fun little things for you followers, I also want to be able to do some things like, I know there's some people that need weather radios. Some people, we need some more CocoRa's observers in Madison County. I think there are 4 in Anderson, 1 down by Ingalls, and that's it for Madison County. Nobody in Frankton, Elwood, Alexandria, Summitville. I'd like to be able to get, make enough money to be able to get to CocoRa's gauges for people and just give them to them in exchange for them becoming observers, and hopefully eventually make enough money to even do some things for local charities to try help out people. I know there are a lot of people follow this page that are, single parents that are struggling to get along, and there are other people in this county. I know this is a economically, difficult county to live in at times, and so and that's one of the reasons I haven't just totally shut this page down, or I haven't gone to strictly pay only, because I know there are a lot of people who need this information but they can't afford it. There are a lot of people in this county who just can't even afford to exist. So hopefully we can get this thing going and make enough money where we can not only help those of us running the page and help those of you following the page, but start helping the entire county. That would be outstanding in my eyes, to be able to get to where the whole Madison County Weather Updates community is part of serving our entire county. So, and then if we get to that point, from that point on, sky's the limit. We could do great things from there, not just personally, not just as a page, but as a whole community, us and you, serving our county. So going forward from here, the social media pages are still going to get forecasts, like the 7-day forecast. I'll probably put a lot less detail in them, because a lot of that detail will go into the Patreon videos, where I'm going to explain things better. You also will still get like the extreme weather posts if we've got severe weather going on, or snow or ice or dense fog, things that are hazards to the citizens of our county. I definitely will still do that. I'm not going to take that away and make that pay only. The purpose of this page was for information, to help keep everybody safe, and I'm not going to, take that away and hide that behind a paywall. I will continue to provide extreme weather updates, just things like I normally do, where I'm telling you there's storms getting ready to go, non-severe storms getting ready to go into southern Madison County or northern Madison County, or there's rain that's going to be here by mid-afternoon. That kind of stuff, I will stop posting to the weather page, to the social media pages. Those kind of updates will also come to the Patreon, and I'll kind of iron stuff out as we go along. It may be that once we get going and it's going well enough, maybe I'll move some of that stuff back to social media, but that's kind of where I'm heading at the onset. So, again, if I understand this platform right, I'm totally new to it. Live streams, I'll do live streams from the Patreon, and then be able to share the link out to the social media, and I'll make those live streams open to the public. That way, when I share the links to the social media, you'll be able to click on it and you'll be able to go and watch it without having to pay anything. And as you're watching, I think they have things in there where, as you're watching live stream, you can decide in the middle of it, hey, I need this information. I want to make a one-time donation, and you can donate during them, or you can just watch them and get the information you need. So, and I'm sure, I have a feeling this winter, unlike our last few, is going to be a little more productive. So, trying to think if there was anything else I really want to cover. So if the very last point I have on here is, if this fails, and my mindset right now is that it's not going to fail. So, this is kind of last ditch to save the page. If this fails, then I probably will just shut it down. But I don't think that's where it's going. I think since I'm adding value to the dollar, there's the old saying, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? So if I'm adding value for what people are paying for that everybody's not getting, then I think this is going to work out. And again, those who can't afford to pay will still get the information they need, still get the forecast they need, will still get the severe weather information and winter weather information they need. So I think it's going to be a win-win. So I kind of blathered on a little longer than I planned to on that. So let's move on. Let's take a quick look here at live radar. It's 1:30 p.m. The radar, you can kind of see the majority of the rainfall is out here into eastern Indiana. This is via radar Omega. You can see a little bit of rainfall kind of sliding in, just very light sliding into southern Madison County. Not a whole lot out here in Illinois. And this boundary is just going, there's a boundary hanging around that's just going to kind of linger. And so we'll have these periods where we might get some rain. It might redevelop a little bit overnight. Most of the activity is going to be south and southeast. But even into tomorrow, we just can't rule a little something isolated up. I do want to point out on the radar Omega, right now I've got this zoomed way out, but when we're doing live, if there's a severe coverage that we need to do, this radar Omega, I mean, we can zoom in really, really close, and we can get down to where it puts the labels on for the streets. You can zoom into the point that you can see where the houses are. So this is going to be great when there's some sort of severe event. This is going to really make things a lot better on being able to pinpoint where severe cells are. So that's going to be another great tool for our lives. You've kind of seen the radar Omega some on screenshots on the social media. Now with lives, we'll be able to do it from here, have the streets labeled and everything. So that's going to be great. So I was going to show you kind of some model renderings of what the precipitation might do, but the models have done a horrible job with this. Even right now, it's 1:30. The models that ran for 1 o'clock, they're not doing well already. So, and they haven't handled this well. It's just, we're in one of these setups where the air is really soupy. You got a boundary hanging around, and you just get little random disturbances that pop something up, and you get some heavy rainfall out of nowhere. or things look great and everything falls apart. It's just totally unpredictable. The models aren't handling it well. So this is just going to continue to be more of what we'd call a nowcast kind of situation. You're not forecasting, you're saying what's going on right now, and that's all you can do. So with that, I want to take a look here. Here's this boundary again. This is kind of on the U.S. view, but you can kind of see the boundary right here, just hanging out. And we've got this big ridge out here in the southeastern U.S. We haven't really had much of a southeast ridge all summer. We kind of have this, and you can see this drier air is trying to sink in here, but you can see the boundary is just stalled out. And eventually, the southeast ridge is going to give way. This cooler, drier air is going to make its way eastward, probably with a push somewhere around Thursday. So probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are all going to be pretty pleasant and nice and cool, kind of maybe early fall-like. Maybe have a little feel of September for a few days there before the 80s return. We got into the lower 90s yesterday. For the foreseeable future, I don't see any 90s in the foreseeable future. All it takes, though, is for one of these ridges in the southeast or the southern plains to strengthen, and that changes. But for the foreseeable future right now, I do not see any more 90s, on the horizon. That's not to say that we won't hit 90 again, but there's just nothing screaming out that there's a major heat wave coming. While we're on this global sector, I do want to take a trip out here to the northwest, to the North Pacific. And one of the things that I watch a lot, you've heard me mention, is the Bering Sea, the Aleutian Island chains. Indiana kind of works out somewhere around here. During the winter, that kind of changes. Winter and summer, it kind of migrates north and south with the weather patterns. But we'd had a pretty good warm surge up across the Aleutians for the last couple of days. That has now moved away, and you can see one boundary is pressed through and another one getting ready to press in. That kind of points to a 1-2 punch. What you see in the Bering Sea, it's not always 1-to-1. There are other oscillations that affect it, but it's been working out pretty well. And somewhere 17 to 21 days out is when what happens in the Bering Sea. Some version of it happens here in the central and eastern U.S. So we'll be watching this for the very end of August. I've mentioned that a couple of times that we might have a serious cool shot, at the end of the month, and so we'll watch that. There is something building back in here though, and I do expect that as we get into early September, we may have, if we're going to have another run at 90 degrees, it may happen in early September. I do think September is going to be up and down. Overall, September is probably going to finish cooler than average for a change. We've gotten used to hot Septembers and hot early Octobers. Not so sure that's happening this year, but we'll wait and see how that all plays out. So last thing here, we'll take a look at, I have not updated the 7-day forecast yet. At the moment, I don't think there's anything that I'm really going to want to change too much other than adding in a day. I may, if there's a question, it's right here on Thursday and Friday. Right now, I don't have anything there, but there are some disturbances that may be coming over as that ridge sets up more in the plains and we get a little bit over the top. We could have another case where there's nothing widespread, but you get these little pesky storms that pop up along the boundaries on the northwest flow around the higher pressure. I should have at least pulled that up and shown you what I was talking about. But just know that if I change anything, it may be here putting in a little bit of a rain chance on Thursday and Friday. This one here, Sunday into Monday, may actually occur Sunday instead of Monday. So those are kind of things I'm trying to work the timing out. I spent a lot of time looking at the vapor loop, looking at satellite, looking at how the pressure is functioning at actual readings versus what the models think. That was kind of how I got the track of our big storm right last winter when everything was projecting that heavy snow to be off in Ohio. So that's the kind of things I spend a lot of time looking at and try to be accurate. So again, this was the forecast I posted last night. I'll update this here in a little bit. I've got a doctor's appointment to go to, but I didn't want to show you this and just kind of as I start doing the Patreons, when I update the forecast, I'll do these, and instead of just getting a little blurb up here, excuse me, I will get on here and explain, kind of day by day what I think is going to happen. So with all of that said, again, just when I get this shared, then you should have access to the Patreon. Come on over, subscribe. If you're already subscribed through the website, you can either cancel that and renew on the Patreon. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Or I know a couple of you just had things renew, but I'll try to go through the list and find you and figure out a way to maybe post these on a private YouTube video or something that I can send out to you. I'll figure out something, but again, if you want to cancel what you got at the website and move it over to the Patreon once we know it's working right, then definitely do that. Otherwise, I'll figure out a way to take care of you and make sure that you get the Patreon access. So with all that said, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you very much.